Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to touch on a few things that other members in their contributions. The member, and I thank all members for supporting the legislation before us this evening. The member for Gwadja did talk about the importance of child safety and information sharing. I did think it was quite interesting that he spoke about integrity and transparency, and we don't need to go on about the restoring integrity to government that they had under their previous, when they were the government. So I don't think they have a lot to say in the integrity space, Madam Speaker. And the fact that we are bringing these changes, it is about making sure that we are being more transparent. And, you know, I just felt like it was, here we go again with another, you know, we were so great at our integrity and transparency when clearly they were not. He also mentioned about the consultation. The consultation has actually been over 12 months, and I'm not sure what also the detriment to the Aboriginal language teachers would be. We just heard from the member for Barkly as a remote and very remote areas that he goes to. You know, Clause 23 in actual fact strengthens the authority to teach, which is, he went on and elaborated about, you know, how that is necessary in some of those very remote settings to be able to get those language teachers in. And we've modified that so it's not just about a foreign language, it's in actual fact, you know, any language other than English. We also heard from the member for Fanny Bay, and I do note the member for Fanny Bay is someone who previously worked in the department, and I could certainly hear that passion throughout her contribution. The member for Johnson, you know, again went on about the time frame of the consultation, which I think was actually quite generous. And we in actual fact want to protect the Aboriginal culture, and these changes do actually do that. So, and then the member for Johnson wanted to know, was I going to take it seriously? I can assure you, member for Johnson, everything to do with education, I absolutely take seriously. And I think there is a lot of things that we've done this year that have assured opposition and crossbench members that we are not about just saying we are going to make changes in education, we are actually getting on and doing that job. Thank you to the member for Fong Lim, who always eloquently gives a contribution, and part of strengthening, and this is part of strengthening and reforming our education. And as he spoke about, this is something that we have been doing over the last 15 months. And we as a government and also the department, which I'd like to thank, have been very agile over the last 15 months. And as the member for Fong Lim said, we are actually acting on what we are doing. So, Madam Speaker, the CLP government is taking action to strengthen the teacher workforce and deliver on its commitments to keeping and attracting teachers, fixing education and getting kids back to school. Our government is committed to ensuring the efficiency and effectiveness of government agencies and delivering value for Territorians. One of our 3 key priorities is to rebuild the economy by enhancing efficiencies through streamlining processes and reducing administrative obstacles. This certainly helps. The Teacher Registration Amendment Bill 2025 amends the Teacher Registration Act 2004 and the Teacher Registration Regulations 2004. The proposed amendments are focused on the following key areas: strengthening the regulatory integrity of the Teacher Registration Board and the Office of the Board, mandating the registration of early childhood teachers, teaching and education and care services, improving national consistency for the registration of all teachers, and improving information sharing across jurisdictions. And the key points are child safety is strengthened by mandating professional registration for qualified teachers teaching in the early childhood education and care sector. This amendment will also strengthen the teacher workforce through attracting more early childhood education and care teachers to the teaching profession. The reform will also create flexibility for school principals to make resourcing decisions that respond to the needs of the school. The bill further strengthens child safety by improving information sharing arrangements. A provision is included in the bill that enables the board to share information kept on the Register of Teachers with teacher registration authorities in other jurisdictions, which includes the sharing of information that the board reasonably believes will prevent harm to a child. The bill strengthens child safety through information sharing provisions that address gaps highlighted by the Royal Commission into institutional responses to child sexual abuse, and further by the Child Safety Review conducted by the Australian Children's Education Care Quality Authority, or ACEQA. The bill will strengthen the regulatory integrity of the Teacher Registration Board and the Office of the Teacher Registration Board by clarifying the Minister's powers to set policy, performance and accountability expectations, and the CE of the agency is responsible for teacher registration and regulation to manage the performance of the Director of the Board. This amendment will result in increased trust and confidence in the operations of the Board and the Office of the Board. And I do note that some of the contributions had some concerns in that area, but this is about making sure it is more transparent and making sure that that board is more robust and accountable. The regulatory framework for teacher registration and regulation in the NT is amended to align with the national framework for teacher registration in Australia. This includes minimum qualification currency of practice and English language proficiency requirements. These amendments support national consistency, making it easier for the NT to attract teachers from other jurisdictions. Amendments in the bill ensure Aboriginal languages are captured as a specialist subject, eligible for an employer to apply for an authority to employ an unregistered person to teach on behalf of a person who does not hold the required qualifications for registration. This amendment recognises the importance Aboriginal teachers bring with teaching of students in their first language and supports flexible employment options for remote schools. And I do note that was one of the concerns that came up as well from the member for Guadja, from the member for Johnson spoke about that as well. We actually have 9 bilingual schools, Madam Speaker, and this again, as the member for Berkeley spoke about in his contribution, will help strengthen that as well. The bill will streamline registration processes and create greater flexibility for employers to seek an authority to employ an unregistered person to teach specialist subjects. For example, vet trainers, language teachers, and individuals working towards their teaching qualifications. Administrative burden is reduced by removing the limitation that an authority to employ an unregistered person expires at the end of each calendar year. Now, this is something when we came into government, Madam Speaker, we had quite a few people getting in contact with, and there was a real blockage at the end of the school year when everyone was due to renew their registration. It's a holiday period, there's not as many people there at work, and there were some people that just could not get that registration renewed. So this will actually enable the board to set the period of an authority to align with the relevant circumstances of employment up to a maximum of 2 years, or as prescribed by the regulations. The member for Guadja and Johnson shared concerns from the committee hearings about the governance and independence of the board, and I think I've just gone over that then. These reforms clarify existing roles and responsibilities through the PSEMA. The Director of TRB, the Teacher Registration Board, is a public sector employee under the PSEMA and a statutory officer. They must be employed by an agency, in this case, the Department of Education and Training. The Chief Executive of Education and Training is responsible for the Director's accountability and performance only. The Board is the regulatory authority and reports to me as the Minister. Authority to teach concerns are unfounded as to employ an Aboriginal member for language and to remove the use of the term foreign language. This term is outdated and this change makes it more contemporary. As Aboriginal teachers are employed under this area and generally are an elder and hold cultural responsibility to the area, these decisions can be made by the school community for that employment. Some other efficiencies are moving from a paper-based manual application, which is outdated, to a new ICT automated system that will be in place by September 1st, 2026. Streamlining the process and making it more efficient is part of our government's mandate to cut red tape and remove some administrative burdens. And I commend the bill to the House, Madam Speaker.
The question is the bill be now read a second time. Those of that opinion say aye. To the contrary, no. 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 I think the ayes have it. The clerk.
Amend the Teacher Registration Northern Territory Act 2004 and the Teacher Registration Northern Territory Regulations 2004.
I seek leave to move the third reading.
Is leave granted?
Nothing.
No? Okay. Leave is not granted. We will move into the consideration in detail stage.
Good evening, honourable members. Order. The Assembly will consider the Teacher Registration Northern Territory Legislation Amendment Bill 2025-041. Member for Quadra, would you like to indicate any particular clauses you'd like to?
Yes, thank you, Mr Deputy Chair. I've just got two questions on Clause 8.
Clause 8? Okay. Thank you. So, on that basis, can I ask, is it the wish of the Assembly that clauses 1 to 7 be considered together? Aye. There being no objection, it is so ordered. The question is that clauses 1 to 7 stand as printed. Those of that opinion say aye, to the contrary no. Aye. I think the ayes have it. The question is that clause 8 stand as printed. No. Member for Quadra.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Minister, I just wanted to ask you two questions in relation to Clause 8. How will the hierarchy of approval or conflict be managed when a ministerial direction is given to the board, and if the direction conflicts with the director of the board as well as the CE?
Yeah, can you just explain that more?
Yeah, so essentially you're going to have the director of the Teacher Registration Board, and they could get a direction from the board, and they could also get a direction from the CE, of which are in conflict of one another. How's the hierarchy work of the director is being told by the board to do one thing, but by the chief executive or the minister to do another? What's the hierarchy of approvals or direction?
First of all, the minister can't intervene in the board matters.
Yep.
So that's
so the chief executive and the board.
Yeah, so there won't be any conflict because the CE only directs the director under the PACEMA.
Yeah, so what you're saying is there's no grounds for the chief executive to ever direct the director in contradiction to what the board have directed the person?
Yeah, no.
Okay, thank you. That was some stuff that some stakeholders wanted us to confirm. And Minister, how will perceived, real and possible conflict be managed when the board is both the regulator and the employer of teachers?
Do you mean the department? Because the board doesn't actually employ the teachers?
I guess it's
The
going to
department
the
does.
heart of what we've heard from people from the inquiry and past the date of the inquiry is the real possible and potential conflict bringing it in when the Department of Education employs teachers and now the Department of Education is going to have the Teacher Registration Board sitting within it. How's it going to manage that perceived conflict?
Yeah, so as I said, the director has been, the director has always been an employee of the agency. The minister has a responsibility of that board. Yeah, I don't think there is no conflict of interest under that.
Yeah, so I'm just ascertaining you're bringing the Teacher Registration Board into arm's length, as it's referred to, into the department. So what is the process for mitigating any real perceived or possible conflict that they are working in together and that there's the independence? Because that's obviously the issue that's being raised, is people saying that bringing it in removes that element of independence.
So the CEO is responsible for the performance of employees within the department with respect to upholding the code of conduct and performance under the PSEMA. And while there is a direct relationship between the department and the office of the board, the department cannot interfere with the statutory powers of the board.
Thank you, Minister. And can you confirm, can the Minister override a decision of the board?
No.
Thank you.
Any further questions, member?
No further questions?
Okay. Is it the...
At all?
Oh, sorry. Okay. The question is that clause 8 stand as printed. Those of that opinion say aye, to the contrary no. Aye. I think the ayes have it. Is it the wish of the Assembly that the remainder of the bill will be taken together?
Yes.
There being no objection, it is so ordered. The question is that the remainder of the bill stand as printed. Those of that opinion say aye, to the contrary no. Aye. I think the ayes have it. The question is that the bill be agreed to. Those of that opinion say aye, to the contrary no. Aye. I think the ayes have it. Minister.
I move that the bill be now read a third time.
The question is, the bill be now read a third time. Those of that opinion say aye, to the contrary no. Aye. I think the ayes have it. The clerk.
A bill for an act to amend the Teacher